Re-recorded from a soundstage in the Alps, it's Malignant Bear, featuring me, JD Grauspitz, on mic. Hello everyone, and thanks for checking out our unconventional debut. Usually for streamers, and especially for VTubers, the debut is their all-important first stream where you see and hear them and learn about them for the first time. Of course, we ruined that because we've been streaming for a while now, and we aren't even doing this live. We figured, as a band, you'd usually hear a recording before you go to the concert, right? Plus, to actually make this work, we had to do some light editing, and I actually wrote some notes for the first time ever to make sure that I actually cover everything. Anyways, we wanted to celebrate having some new things to play with, and give some of our history and insight into JD, me, all in one place. All of the Bear PNGs you'll be seeing on the next slide were done by our friend and honorary band member Chet, same as the artwork here. And the song playing in the background is our own original music, created by our drummer Divvy, called Pre-Bury Yourself, which plays the intro to every stream. So, we hope you'll enjoy our very belated debut. For those who might have watched us before, or maybe read the description, we're Lichtenstein's former, premier glam rock band, which is an awful lot to unpack, so let's get into that. Malignant Bear started as a passion project from a group of friends years ago to spread glam rock throughout the Alps. The band had a slow start and didn't play their first international shows until the early 90s, but took off not long after. They rocked and entertained the mountains of Europe and recorded a modest collection of hits, but as often happens, the fame went to their heads. The band fired their original manager and decided to double down on the bear side of things by hiring our current manager, an actual koala, Huey Eucalyptus. Now, koalas are not true bears, nor are they very skilled at band management, or much else beyond eating leaves and dropping on people's heads. Shortly after he was hired, he apparently signed off on a doomed PR stunt that tragically killed the original members of the band. Details are scarce, but I'm told it involves some alpine sports and wild animals. Unfortunately, in an effort to pay for those damages, the rights to the band's back catalog were given to the government and royal family of Lichtenstein, all off the record, of course. In addition, the band lost all of its production staff, so we're kind of figuring things out on our own. Thankfully, the band was smart enough to leave some instructions for Huey. Should something happen, he was to continue the band by creating a rotating supergroup. Huey hired, although he doesn't actually pay us anything, all the poor saps he could to keep Malignant Bear alive. The members are scattered all over the world and are all interchangeable, not unlike an idol group. I'm merely the current frontman of the core group, and who knows how long that's going to last. Huey's the only member of the band actually in Liechtenstein these days. Thank goodness for that, because if he was close by, we might actually have to deal with him more often. Turns out koalas are not so good at computers, or talking. The obvious question then is, why bears? Are you, or were the original members of the band, furries? Not that I know of, but we've no beef with them. They're certainly a creative group, and I, for one, respect creativity. My understanding is the name is something all the original members agreed upon, because they reason that lots of famous bands, especially of their era, were named after animals, and bears are pretty easy branding. There are bears of different types on almost every continent. Everyone knows what they look like, but there's not an overwhelming amount of them. Makes sense to me, and we've used that logic and the whole supergroup idea to roll with these multiple interchangeable PNGs for the streams. And that same logic is going to apply to our newest creations as well. Speaking of creations, that's probably what you're all here for, right? So how about this? It's the first of our new VTuber models. Yes, plural. All made by me and Vroid. So obviously they're going to be a little awkward. I don't have the full body tracking or the leap motion, but I still wanted to do this. Wanted to pay homage to glam rock and all of its children, and bears of course, given the name of the band, and then just the interchangeable nature of the band, so multiple models. First and foremost here we have the brown bear, highlighting the glitzy and gaudy side of glam rock. I looked at lots of different outfits and assets to get the looks that I wanted, and this one just jumped out at me. Any of the non-stock assets that I used are going to be in the video description because credit's important, but let's take a good look at this handsome rock star. So, right off the bat, zooming into the face there, I think it's important to start with the top and work your way down. I know some people do it the other way around. But, had to make some bear ears, and they flop around a little bit when we move, which is nice. So brown bear, brown hair, and eyes. Again, Glam is glitzy and gaudy, so had to have some eye makeup there. And of course we're bears, so it made sense to give us some teeth. Nice, wonderful pearly whites there. But going on to the outfit, and this is the thing that I think really sold this for me. I saw this as a male idol outfit, and was immediately sold. It's gaudy, it's glamorous, it's over the top, it's bold, it's brash, it's whatever you want to call it. This just screams early glam rock to me. There's so many details and colors and, yes, even a cape. I couldn't think of anything more perfect for the look that I was going with. I didn't need to do anything to this. This was everything that I would want if I was to be on stage as the frontman of a glam rock band, which, oddly enough, I am. So, I may or may not have this exact same outfit somewhere in a closet. But, again, lots of bright colors, intricate details, nice stripes on the pants, make yourself look a little taller. And then, of course, some nice boots. Gotta show those off. But again, save it for last. I know some people don't like that, but... Anyway, so yeah, the first of our models. We've got some more to show off, but like I said, they do look a little odd, I know, without the full motion tracking and movement and everything, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now, you know a little bit about the band, and you've seen the first model, so how about you get to know a little bit more about me? So, I'm Jan Dietrich Grauspitz, the lead singer and main streaming talent of Malignant Bear. I go by JD because we figured that's easier for some viewers, and it definitely saves some time when we're typing in descriptions and tweets. Some of the other members of the band that you might have seen on stream are Divvy, our drummer, Constantine and Slick Watts, both of whom play guitar, and Stewbeef, one of our guitarists. Of course, there's plenty more members and people outside the band we work with and might even stream with from time to time. Now, since we aren't doing this live, but I still want to capture that same awkward debut experience, let's answer another possible question. JD, if you're a rock star, how come you aren't wild and crazy on stream? Now, make no mistake, I get into it on stage, but online is a little bit different. I like to be a little more subdued and calm on stream. Partly because my attention is lots of different places at once, and partly because I don't want to annoy my neighbors, but mostly because it's a little different without a live audience to feed off of and see. I'm old school, I like stage presence, I like to see my fans up close and personal. So consider these streams more of the backstage experience of just talking to me, rather than a traditional show, but that doesn't mean that we don't like to have some fun with it. Now, usually when a streamer debuts, they showcase some information about them, which we've been doing, but like I said, we're going to focus entirely on me, because I'm the one who streams. Now, I assure you the rest of Malignant Bear is around, they just leave it up to me what I actually do on here. So, first some of my general likes and dislikes. Some of this might be a review, because I've either said it before, or might have picked up on it from previous streams, but now it's all going to be in one place. And Huey demanded that I specify that my opinions are my own, and I also can't badmouth him, because I think he might know just enough human speech to understand when I do that. Anyway, I'm a pretty big fan of music and games, obviously that tracks for what I do on here. Hockey's my favorite sport, and I do love me some mountains. Again, makes sense for Lichtenstein, Alpine country. Like I said, I do honestly like performing even if I don't show it well on stream. I've always liked animals, and how convenient that I'm now in a band named for some. I also enjoy learning and trying new things. I think it's fun and rewarding to do that, and this whole experience has provided plenty of that for me. I definitely dislike gluten, and it dislikes me because I have celiac disease. Thank goodness for wine and hard liquor because beer is off the table. I'm not a fan of the ocean. I just don't think we belong there, and it's honestly kind of terrifying. I also dislike driving. I'm good at it. Let me preface. I'm good at it. I have a car, I have a spotless record. It's just kind of a frustrating experience at times. And I'm not big at talking on the phone. I think it's a little awkward. You miss some of the nuance of an in-person conversation. And I understand that's a little ironic given what we're doing right now. Now, on to the next model. Here, we have my take on a polar bear. Glam and the genres that it influenced are well known for encompassing all sorts of different styles and looks, and often bending gender norms. So with that in mind, I wanted to capture that essence and draw upon our original artwork or more glitzy, punkish, and female model. This one took the most work, combining and layering different things to get a look that the whole band was satisfied with. In a shocking twist, it turns out there's a lot more and much higher quality assets for female VTubing models. But let's take a closer look. So, of course, Polar Bear had to go with the white hair and ears, and even though we don't have the full motion tracking, there's still plenty of movement with the long hair there, which I think is fun. So with a polar bear, obviously they live in the snow, so sunglasses seemed important to deal with snow blindness. In the original artwork, the polar bear is wearing a very pink feather boa, but it was hard to get anything that I liked around the neck, so I wanted to incorporate that same pink color throughout the outfit, so it wasn't just white. So we have pink lips, of course still the wonderful fangs from before, but moving on down, we see the nice pink jacket here, and some fishnets on the arms. I wanted this to be glitzy and glamorous and punkish and sexy and as many things that you could think of to combine into one outfit. It's edgy, but it's not forced, at least I don't think it is. But you can see a different shade of pink from the lips, and onto the skirt as well. I wanted to make sure that it was different shades so that it's not quite a manufactured look to try to get that style. But we have the fishnets up top and down below, and again some more kind of punkish high heels as well. But just what I think a kind of glitzy glam rock punkish polar bear would look like. Fun look for sure. Now then, before we get back to me, let's nip another potential question in the bud. Why PNGs or models like this? Why not just a face cam? Huey has instructed me to say because seeing how handsome I am would be very distracting, and he wants you to come to our live shows for that. Realistically, though, I think it plays into the interchangeable nature of the band. Of course, the follow-up question to that is, why did it take so long to debut and do this? We all wanted this to be done right, but none of us had the skills or, more importantly, the time to really make it happen. I finally decided to make a push for it, and that's not to say that I or the rest of the band thinks that these models are perfect. There's still plenty of room to grow and improve, but we think this is a very good first step. Ironically, when it comes to VTubing, lots of people do PNG to 3D Vroid like this, and then go on to live 2D, so you get to gain and then lose some dimensions in the process. Now then, because we're creating media, we of course have to talk about some of the media that I like to consume. We've played a lot of games on stream, and we'll play pretty much anything, as you might have been able to guess. Some of my favorites of all time, though, are Dark Souls, Morrowind, Chrono Trigger, Legend of Zelda, StarCraft, and of course Half-Life, the very first game we streamed. Definitely love me some RPGs, and of course based on what I've played, plenty of roguelikes and Metroidvanias as well. I'm primarily a PC gamer, but I do have some older consoles lying around, and a Steam Deck, which is pretty great. On the music side, I am of course contractually obligated to say that I love glam rock. But in all seriousness, I'll listen to pretty much anything. Some of my favorite artists on the classic side would be David Bowie, Alice Cooper, Led Zeppelin, Frank Zappa, and Yes. On the more modern side, I like to branch out with groups like Perfume, Dance with the Dead, Ben Folds, The Killers, and Motion City Soundtrack. There's nothing quite like going to a live show, though, especially with a really good audience, and I've been to more than a few shows with bands I didn't really know just to take in some of that vibe. I'll admit that I don't watch TV or movies all that much, but I still have some favorites there. I absolutely love some classic anime like Cowboy Bebop or Ghost in the Shell. On the western side, I'm very proud to say I've seen all of King of the Hill and Venture Brothers. When it comes to live action, I like to revisit old episodes of Top Gear. Out of the modern era, I think Arcane was absolutely fantastic, and the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones were really good. It's just a shame that it kind of ended right after that. It was really weird. But Lord of the Rings definitely takes the spot as my favorite media property, though, with all the books and adaptations and everything inspired by it. Just great. And last but not least, our final model, a more punk glam metal black bear. Glam took on many forms and inspired acts that are still going strong today, even if they aren't all in that same glitzy style. We certainly appreciate all of them, and one of these models hopefully showcase that. This outfit, like the Brown Bear one, just jumped out at me. It's a cleaner, more manufactured, but still edgy look that I think fits with the acts that went in that style. I just had to keep the big hair from Chet's original artwork, of course, but let's go in a little closer and check it out. Here you can see, of course, we still had the hair and ears and everything. Obviously black bear, black ears and hair. Nice faux hawk that I designed myself. Still kept those pearly white fangs. Got a little bit of makeup going on too. Of course, nice leather jacket. Some metal studs and chains and things, again keeping with that edgy look. Not full sleeves, I liked that about this. Of course, we do still have the gloves though. Fingerless gloves, always ideal for your punk and metal days. And I like the tight undershirt in the kind of bumblebee style. Obviously bears like honey, so that seemed appropriate. Got our nice dark colored jeans. Again, very metal belt and chains. And on down to the studs and everything. Studs and leather on the bottom of the pants, and of course the shoes as well. Again, maybe not quite as glitzy as the brown bear outfit, but you still know what you're getting into with this. So anyway, now once again, one question you might have is, why are you doing all this if you're a glam rock band, and why doesn't the rest of the band stream? Which, totally fair. As it happens, making music is kind of hard, especially when your band is massive, spread around the world, and maybe not particularly talented. Not to say that streaming and content creation doesn't take talent, because it absolutely does, but I figured this was still a fun way to do something with Malignant Bear, and share some of our passions with others, and maybe learn some new skills along the way. As for the rest of the band not being around more, coordinating things is hard, and some of us have less or more free time than others. I do enjoy performing, and it's been interesting to learn how that works within this medium. VTubing is especially interesting in that I think it offers a lot of potential in terms of creativity, not unlike a more traditional live show. It's given me and the rest of the band a whole new level of respect and understanding for some serious internet content creators. Obviously, like I said, we're not full-time streamers or content creators, far from it, but we still like to try to do right with the time that we can spare towards this. As I mentioned, this is of course a bit of an odd debut, because we've been at it for a while now, and this isn't even live. But that means that you have a whole bunch of back content to check out if you're interested. I'll be the first to admit, it took me a while to get into the swing of things. Lots of those early streams are pretty rough, especially in terms of audio quality. But I've learned a lot and stuck with it, and would like to think the quality has increased as it's gone on. I've definitely had some bad takes on things, everybody does. That's part of life, and try to grow from it. If you happen to watch something old and disagree with something I said or did, know that people change and sometimes words are hard. I don't care how cheesy it sounds, we don't want to offend people, so my apologies if we did at any point. Glam's supposed to be shocking, but not offensive, if that makes any sense to you. Consider our previous streams kind of our garage band days, and this is our first major release, and then after this we'll go back to performing. Now, if you did want to go back and check out some of the old stuff, I would definitely recommend the 2021 recap video and any of the Power Wash Simulator streams. They cover a lot of ground in terms of our first year and just some of my general thoughts on streaming, content creation, and media culture. The VR chat video of the Smallverse was fun with Hololive, as was the hand reveal meme stream that I did for April Fool's this year. Yakuza 0 was a blast, even if the audio was especially bad in that. And Frog Detective and Monster Prom were absolutely hilarious, and will tell you a lot about my brand of humor. D-Lit and Wonder Labyrinth was one of my favorite games last year, and the full playthrough of that is up. And I know the karaoke covers are of some questionable quality, but I definitely had the most fun with Bakamitai. Now, looking towards the future, of course we plan on keeping doing this. Obviously these models are just the next step in that. Malignant Bear, we're not full-time streamers, we all have other stuff that we have to do. Some of it might even be music related, but this is still fun, and we hope some other people are enjoying it too. We don't have any fancy art tags or a community Discord or anything like that, but you can still get at us on Twitter or of course in the comments of any of our videos. We welcome suggestions and feedback, even if we maybe aren't the best at actually responding to them. We do still want to try to improve where we can and try new things out. But for now, we hope you'll enjoy what we're putting out anyways. We'd also encourage you to check out other content creators. There's a lot of really great and talented people out there, so show them some love. And, as I always say to end any of our streams or videos, we do hope you enjoyed this, because I certainly did. We appreciate your viewership, and until next time, have a good one.